My favorite police chief in America, and that's separate from sheriffs, right? But my favorite police chief just might be the guy in Detroit. He took the job, 18 months, 2 years ago? Looked around after a couple weeks. First thing he did, he went in front of the TV cameras and he said, "People of Detroit, we cannot protect you." I mean, this guy was a gun grabber. Before, get to Detroit, he said, "Oh no, get a gun. There's too many home invasions, too many homeowners getting murdered. People in Detroit aren't safe. This is nothing but a bunch of thugs running the whole town that do nothing but kill you, rob you, steal you from you, create an enormous amount of violence and mayhem on you if they can. Figure it out." The next 6 months, there was a couple of dozen of these shootings. Crime rate went, burn. I'm not saying Detroit is the safest place in America, but when criminals go walking around Detroit, actually there's a couple going, I wonder if this guy's carrying a weapon. Maybe in Baltimore they're going to start asking that question a little more too. There's a story this week about here's this. We're going to see this story now. I'm going to do the spoiler alert. If you're not paying real close attention to the story, you're going to think one kid walked up to one old man in a car, pulled a fake gun, and the old man pulled his gun out, 73-year-old dude, and shot the kid, a black person. Unless you're paying very, very close attention, you're not going to know that there were 15 black people in that group that were going to hijack that car doing whatever the worst kid in that group wanted to do to that old dude who turned out to be a retired cop.
Fire in Carroll Park. Police say a suspect pulled a replica gun on a 73-year-old former police officer. That former officer took matter into his own hands, shooting the suspect in the head. Well, tonight we have learned the suspect is just 13 years old and he is hospitalized in critical condition. WJZ is live outside shock trauma. Avajoy Burnett has more. Avajoy?
Denise, good evening. Police tell WJZ it was a group of young people who approached that 73-year-old, but they had no idea he had his own gun. Sky Eye Chopper 13 over Carroll Park Wednesday afternoon. Baltimore police tell WJZ a 73-year-old was sitting in his car when a group of young males approached, opened the car door, and the suspect, just 13 years old, pulled this replica gun on the victim. But the elderly man had his own weapon and shot the teenage suspect in the head.
There was no way he could have told at that instant that the gun that the young man was carrying was not real.
Police believe this was an attempted carjacking. As investigators process the scene, WJZ learned the elderly male is a former Baltimore officer who resigned from the force in 1974. Police say he had a permit to carry that gun. Baltimore police say this encounter happened a little bit before 4, and it's not uncommon for people to sit in this park and relax. Near the park along Washington Boulevard, this woman said that man had a right to protect himself.
I never heard of nothing else going on over here like that.
Surprises you to hear that?
Yeah, well, no, not these days. Everything happening these days, so not these days.
Baltimore police say by the time they showed up, the rest of the young men who were with that 13-year-old had disappeared.
It's a very brazen act, and unfortunately, in this case, the young man, was shot as a result of this brazen act.
Now that 13-year-old is still in critical condition here at Shock Trauma.
So I'm not even going to sit here and pretend that I'm sorry that kid got shot in the head. I'm not in the least bit sorry. I don't have any empathy or sympathy or anything ending in the words THY for any criminal or anybody that would create that kind of violence against an old person. Old being defined as anybody over the age of 30. But I have enormous amount of empathy. I have enormous amount of gratitude that 73-year-old former cop defended himself. He just made that city, he saved somebody's life. He saved a couple of lives because he's going to put a little bit of hesitation into somebody's plan to go out and beat the hell out of an old person, rob an old person, kill that old person, because everybody knows old people have guns. Or no, forget the guns. Old people in Baltimore have money. They have drugs in their medicine cabinets. They're soft targets. Man, you cannot get the reporters in Baltimore to talk about it. They're deathly afraid, so they're living in denial, deceit, and delusion about the level of black criminality. And anytime anybody talks about it, you immediately go to one area. You go, well, it's all about the causes. It's all about the solutions. It's not about this unbelievable violence that's happening right now. I mean, good Lord, the mayor of Baltimore. What did she say last summer? I want to give everybody space to destroy. Let's be clear. She was talking about you, your property, your person. It's still hard to get over. She said that, isn't it? I'm very grateful that former cop wasn't giving those 15 kids 1 square inch of dirt to destroy. And now he went and made those other 14 black kids angry.